Hi, Huria. I'm going to give you feedback about your profile speech. Give me a moment. I'm just getting down your rubric. So you talked about toxic friendship and how you um, struggle with toxic relationships and friendships in particular in the beginning, and till you met those few people who have made an impact on you and were uh, primarily responsible for your growth in different ways. So this is what I'm going to tell you. I think the whole idea about toxic friendship and toxic relationships is something that most people would like to hear, because most of us, or some of us, do actually get into some of these relationships and are not able to understand why it's toxic and why it's draining us out. So this is a good topic for us to hear. So it kind of you just through the topic itself, you arouse a lot of interest in the audience, and people want to listen to you. So here, I'm going to give you a few things that could have been done. I did feel that in the organization of your speech, there were some really insightful statements that you made, but it wasn't really followed up with kind of a transitioning or a preview into the next point. So it felt just slightly choppy, where I felt that you were moving from one place to another place without really kind of summarizing the point or providing an insight into the next point. So it was some rapid movements that I could see. The only way, or not the only, there are different ways to do it, but the one way that I can tell you that you can avoid doing this is by providing a slightly a transition that kind of prepares us for the next point, and like maybe a summarizing transition that makes the connection clear about what you just said, what was your point, um, and then connecting us to the next point in your speech. So that's one. Another thing that I felt that there were some points that were insightful. However, you really needed to make a connection with the audience. So if, let's say, you were talking about this friend, I'm just making it up, this friend who kind of really saps your energy, saps your sense of self-esteem. So actually, I'm sure that all of us have one friend or the other who is toxic for us sometimes. Maybe you would want to have rhetorical questions, a rhetorical question, if you will, to kind of tap the audience and say that, hey, do you guys have this moment when you feel that you are in a relationship with this person who doesn't kind of is a dead weight, or doesn't really, just is only criticizing you, and you feel that you're stuck. So some questions like this, where it's rhetorical, but you really want the audience to think, can be used to kind of really, especially in the body of your speech, kind of really create that identification, create that bond with the audience. So some of that could have been done, and that would also make your speech slightly rounded, instead of having those really sharp edges that needed to be smoothened. Another thing is that I felt that the eye contact was could have been better there, and you may want to just work on it, looking at the camera directly and then talking. Because of the limited eye contact that we had, I felt that because of that as well, your body language, facial expression, and gestures, all of that suffered a little bit. So if you have that eye contact going for you, you'll see that body language, facial expression, all the other nonverbal aspects of our deliveries will get better. If you have that one eye contact, then other things will follow through that. Another thing that is, I want to tell you that the speech was not finished on time. You had at least 2 more minutes for you to finish the speech, which meant that only maybe 65 to 70% of your speech was done, and the rest wasn't. So you need to have a better understanding about time, and the only way you can do it is write down your whole speech, write it down, and and see whether you're taking about 5 minutes or 6 minutes or 7 minutes or 3 minutes or 2 minutes to do your speech, and adjust your speed accordingly. It doesn't need to sound very rushed. It doesn't need to sound extremely slow. So you need to have a good balance. And you need to, if it's a 5-minute speech, that means you need to fill those 5 minutes. Otherwise, I get about 60% or 70% of the speech. And you might come and tell me that, Professor, I did 3 minutes or 2 minutes and I'm still fine. I think I made an impact. I'll say, yeah, sure, Huria, you made an impact. But I wanted to see whether you can hold that impact if you went on the 3rd minute, on the 4th minute, on the 5th minute. I'm just giving an example. So for me to understand how well your speech has gone, you would have to give me the whole exposure, the whole. You can't show me the partial room. Let's say I want to see the whole room decor. You decorated your room, and I told you that this should be the size of the room. I'm looking at a medium-sized room, and you show me just one corner of the room, and you tell me how the design is, but I wanted to see the whole room. So you got to think about it.